Welcome back to the ADC, where we finally haven't cursed a team into losing, because Misfits, with the power of the Star Guardians, anime, and friendship, is now on a 4-game win streak. And let's talk about next game, because G2, Misfits, always delivers, and if we can set the stakes here for quite a bit, they are tied in the standings, but with very different trajectories, Vedius.
Oh yeah, I mean, Misfits started off the split 0-4. Everyone thought, well, okay, we know who's not making playoffs this time round. Like, Misfits has been figured out, you know, like, a lot of people believe the last split, they got a lot of lucky wins, right? Even against G2, right? We think back to last split and how crazy some of their games were. It was a little bit ridiculous, but they found themselves a winning formula, whereas G2 find themselves on a three-game losing streak right now.
They did start with 4 wins, though.
That's true. They also start with 4 wins. It's almost like their powers were stolen in some way.
Star Guardian powers.
Oh, the plot thickens.
Interesting. The script is too strong, guys. But when you think about the winning formula for Misfits, this is basically the same thing they were doing in Spring, Trouble.
Yeah, I think they were drafting a bunch of scaling for the late game, and at some point, when they got a bunch of these shutdowns, their champions came online, their items came online, and their team fight seems to be pretty good towards a lot of stages of the game. I also feel like when you do give him these little points and stars, like Vedius Akali, when he's able to find the flank and find the kills, and in this particular clip that we're seeing right now, this is where he picked 2 very early kills, which he could then snowball into the late game.
And I think that, like, Trouble sums it up into comfort and team fight seems to be the name of the game for Misfits. I feel like that when we talk about a winning formula, this is a large part of why they were winning games last split. And yeah, their early games weren't the best. Their early games have never been the best, but they know how to team fight, and they have the mechanical talent to pull off a lot of crazy plays. And Mersa on his Amumu demonstrated just a sample of that. But keep your eyes on Vetheo on his Akali here. There's a reason why he is so well known for the champion.
It's a winning formula for the team, but maybe lacking a bit of the fundamentals in the early game. We'll see how the games goes from there. Yeah, here. So
just a little bit.
Yeah, winning formula or just getting away with it. We'll see about G2, but when you think about this game, it's the battle of the opposites, really. G2 on a 3-game lose streak now, and it feels like they're in quest of identity, in a way.
I very much agree. Treats brought an interesting thought to me yesterday, which is that the way in which they're approaching the meta seems almost a little bit outdated. In particular, like, you look at a lot of their drafts, things like Azir, Corki, Zoe, like, these champions that you see on your screen right now, still very strong, but we seem to be shifting more into this skirmish-heavy style, which shouldn't really be strange to G2, but actually is not really how they've been winning a lot of their games. We think back to their, like, late-scaling team fighting. We think back to their 5v5s, their kind of controlled early game into a powerful mid-game. That is really how G2 found success, and right now that style just isn't working for them.
This also pretty much shows to me that mid lane is a very big point of contention for G2, because if I look at Zoe, Corki, and Azir, it's like push lane, push lane, push lane, get that mid prior on the map.
Yeah, and you have to think of what happens when Caps is struggling, because when you think about the game yesterday especially, he died a lot. So the answer to shutting down G2, is it to shut down Caps?
Okay, Caps' average deaths are an entire death above the second. He is by far the first in average deaths in the league, and it has become a problem and a weakness for G2. The fact that Caps will die 2 to 3 times in the early game. Hell, yesterday we saw him die versus Certus on a 1v1 at the very crucial point in the map where they were trying to contest that Drake, and dying that early into the game, it shuts down a lot of the opportunities for early game ganks and tower dives.
I think when we think back to the playoffs, it was all eyes on Caps. Superstar, even at MSI, this man's performance was just amazing to see, and everyone quickly regarded him as the best mid laner in Europe once again. But it feels like that when you shut him down, what else is G2? And I think that these questions are starting to prop up more. Now, I'm not going to jump to any conclusions, because it seems that teams are getting better at shutting this man in the mid lane down, but we really need to see more from this G2 roster, because if all it takes is to beat G2 is to stop Caps, then, like, that seems like an effective method that many other teams can learn to adopt.
And what's really mind-blowing to me is that this guy has 15 deaths right there, yet his damage per minute is 700, yet his damage percentage is 35%, even though due to his deaths, he falls down in gold at 14. So for me, it's mind-blowing that if this guy almost takes over games by being down in gold, down in experience, down in items, we know what happens when Caps is unleashed and doesn't die in the early game.
And like that's just the crazy thing, right? Caps still, in a way, is playing very well.
Yeah.
It's just that in the early game, he's getting shut down, and when G2 fall behind early, they seem much weaker than the traditional G2 we've seen winning Spring Split.
It's going to be an interesting matchup, and we know how crazy the games versus Misfits versus G2 usually go. Misfits is riding the momentum while G2 is trying to find themselves again, and it's time to toss it to the casters for the game. Take it away, guys.
Woo! Thank you so much, Laure. Wow. In-house audience still hype. No players, just bears on the stage previously. This time we got the players.
Yeah, we took away our curse of teddy bears. We
Teddy
brought
bear
them back
curse.
to life.
You're pushing the teddy bear curse narrative. I respect it. We'll see.
It's our power. It's cool power.
It is a cool power. You know who else has a cool power? It's Caps, because no matter where he goes, people talk about him. And we're probably going to do that too. Smiley
Who'd
boy
have thought,
on stage.
Being good at like one of the best players ever in the
but
West.
is it enough to beat a man who has the anime buff on his side? Well, maybe,
Depends
because Caps
if he has
also
power
has
of
the
God
anime
as well.
buff. Unstoppable duo.
Unstoppable
let's be
duo.
clear. And if you're wondering what to expect for this game, we cannot tell you because this week has been so bizarre. Other than an amazing audience, it's truly hard to say because I did not expect to be in a position where last season's champions were 4-4 at this point in the season. Now, if you told me they had got there, memeing around, playing dumb champions, that'd be G2. That'd be a very G2 thing, but they haven't. It's been honest losses. It's been them getting outclassed in a lot of these games. A lot of players individually falling down. And so it's something that we have to track as we move forward, because for G2, you highlighted Caedrel, it's a 3-loss streak. For Misfits, 4-win streak. Can they keep it going?
That's the big question.
And as the funky jams begin, I've got my eyes on an Akali.
I've got my eyes on you.
Aw, thanks.
I like the star in you.
Thanks.
Glistens.
I like your stars. You have 3 of them.
Thank you, thank you. Well, G2 have a lot of stars. One of them is Caps. What mid laner will he get his hands on? We were talking about this a little bit before the game, and I feel like the desk touched on it. They're playing mid laners which aren't so much really meta right now. More skirmish heavy. Lissandra, Talia. These are the kind of champions we want to see out of Caps. I would love to see a Caps Talia this game. We'll see if G2 has been scrimming it, see if they've been practicing it. Mac even confirmed on Twitter just after the game that they have been watching a lot of LPL. They're taking a lot of inspiration from there. So that's the reason they're playing the game in that way, which looks like is the driving force and the best way to play the game right now on this current patch. So bans coming in, Poppy taken away, Lee Sin taken away, Renata, Senna, and Ornn. Raises the prior of things like the Gnar.
Yuumi coming in as well.
Irrelevant wants to first pick it. A little bit of cheers there for the Yuumi ban.
And obviously, BrokenBlade is a player with an incredibly deep champion pool, so potentially trying to bait that first pick, giving Irrelevant the Gnar in exchange for something else. Instead, for now, the hover over is the Zeri, really debating what they want here. Mid is a big question naturally because Vetheo has obviously been a top performer for this Misfits squad. In spring, it felt like the Vetheo show, and while now it's more of a team effort, still a player we keep our eyes on. That said, top also going to be very crucial.
We haven't seen Kalista yet from G2. They could go for Lucian Nami here, so those are the 2 bot lane options. Could play it safe as well. We've seen a little bit of Kog'Maw Lulus too. With the Yuumi being taken away, it does kind of take away a lot of the strength of the Zeri. Zeri Yuumi is the ideal setup, but Zeri can function pretty well with things like the Nautilus anyway, so we'll see what they opt into. Wukong looks like will be Jankos' prior pick, who has been struggling in the last couple of weeks, in the last couple of games. Early games, not really finding as many leads as he might want, getting caught out here and there, but going back to a little bit of comfort. And we'll see if they pair that up with something that roams around. You could pick power picks here, go for the Nami that we saw Rogue do last game, then pick Lucian on 3, could go for Gnar, could go for an early mid pick for Caps.
Yeah, and if they don't pick Gnar here, I feel like it's because they have something up their sleeve in terms of counters. Maybe they are willing to play something like the Camille. Obviously, BrokenBlade again, deeper champion pool, but any other team, it would feel like an instant, no question asked, Gnar pick.
Oh, wow.
Instead, the Twitch now coming out. Big range, big damage, even without the Yuumi. Comfortable to pick it up here from the side of G2 Esports.
So what happens here if Mersa takes the Lulu? Because I feel like that's exactly what G2 want. I think they're going to have to go for something like Twitch Rakan, Twitch Zillion, something along those lines if they're wanting to match some kind of engaged/ranged enchanter. Karma doesn't work very well, I believe. But there's the Viego for Shlatan. Lee Sin banned against him, of course. I think Lee Sin's always banned against Shlatan. It's his most comfortable. He's played a lot of Viego this split as well. It's kind of like jungle pool is quite small in this current meta, so a lot of junglers have comfort on the meta picks. And it looks like Vetheo is going to go back to his Corki. No support picks just yet. Comfort for him. We've seen incredible CS numbers out of him and incredible damage numbers too.
Absolutely. Anytime you get a champion that can poke as much as Corki can, obviously 1-1 on the champion overall, massive KDAs. He had some of those pop-off performances. Sylas could be the answer, and there it is.
A bit more skirmish heavy. No Azir, no Corki. Get caps on the side as we saw it at MSI. He can do damage on those side lanes. And that's exactly what G2 look like they're playing towards. I mean, Twitch can go towards side. You have great team fight as well. They haven't really revealed their comp just yet. Misfits, of course, a lot of poke with the Corki rockets. The Zeri W, even not AP, does incredible amounts of damage. 3 to 4 items in.
Something to track most certainly, but now as we head into the second phase, I'm still keeping my eyes on the Sylas as a potential flex as we move later. We've highlighted it earlier. It has been leveraged, and of course, BrokenBlade again. Champion pool is something that we will track, but Caps expect maybe to keep that one for now. Karma is going to be banned away, so definitely not the ideal bot lane pairing, but do not want to give it up either on the side of G2 Esports. Maybe could look to grab the Lulu themselves.
Yeah, I think Lulu is probably what G2 want. Rakan is another champ that comes to mind. Nautilus could work, but doesn't really pair very well with Twitch. With Zeri, it does. If they ban something like Karma Nautilus here, then they probably are looking at the Lulu. There's the Gnar ban.
Interesting.
I think the reason Misfits ban Gnar is because they've accepted that they don't want to play it because they're against the Sylas Wukong, right? Sylas takes a Gnar ult. That's not something you want to play into. Just ban it away. Also makes it so they have the last pick top and they have the blind pick support because it just narrows down the blind pick top pool. Ornn would be the other one that G2 could pick up. I think Misfits should ban that one away as well. Actually, no, they banned it on the 1 to 3 there at G2. Good spot. So it's G2 who actually banned the Lulu.
Interesting. Yeah, and of course, I think I like the Ornn ban coming out, just giving respect to Misfits and how they've won a lot of these games, these mid to late game team fights. We talk about teams coming back from massive early deficits. Misfits has definitely been one of those teams finding those big fights, and the Rakan getting banned out. Now, alongside the Zillion, you highlighted this as one of the picks that they could go for support on the bottom side, and GP, still premier top lane blind pick, usually banned out. I honestly forgot it was in the pool, but there it is, coming in for BrokenBlade.
GP picked up indeed. What has Irrelevant got in his back pocket as a counter? We have seen Flandre play, I think it was Annie into GP long time ago, earlier on in the year, I believe it was. I doubt they're going to go for that. I think they just want to leverage counter pick support here. I think the best blind for Misfits is probably a Nautilus. I guess the only thing you could be scared of on 5 is a 5-pick Braum, but it doesn't sound very threatening to Twitch. Braum, we'll see what they opt into anyway, but there's the Gwen for Irrelevant.
There it is.
Oh, they pre-picked the Braum. Very smart here. What Misfits have done is they banned Rakan, which is a counter to Braum. They know Lulu Karma's down, which are enchanters that do well into Braum, and they just blinded themselves. Now, I think Janna or something along those lines is the best pick for G2 here. Picking an engage support's pretty tough, and the range support pool is very, very limited. This 4-5 has been very interesting the way it played out.
Yeah, definitely. Taric
as well could work.
Okay option. You can certainly strap a stun to the back of a Wukong and find yourself very quickly in a fight. The ability to go invulnerable against this team is going to be big. Taric locked in for Targamas.
I like the Taric. It works really well at Twitch as well because you can go in stealth, pop out as the stun is kind of buffered, and then get the stun while you're getting some damage off. A bit tricky, of course. Twitch has to get a bit close to do that, but that is an interaction that works. Do like a little bit of engage though from the support role against the Corki, which might be a bit of a problem later on in the fight, but it's on Jankos. I think Jankos and a GP ult should be enough. Hurricane on Flakked, and then Caps just dishing out damage in the backline with things like the Braum ult. So G2 heavy team fight, good side lane, globals as well. Yeah. And invisibility of the Twitch will always be a threat. Misfits, lots of poke. Good meta OP champs. We'll see how they manage their sides.
Love the Braum paired with 4 champions who are going to auto-attack a lot. It's going to be easy to get those concussive blow stacks, especially if Caps and Jankos try to find their way into the back line. Really going to be about execution here. Not used to seeing kind of this lack of hard engagement from either side. Yeah, you have a Wukong with the Taric combined together, but we don't really have the Ornns. We don't really have the Gnars, these big ultimates, or even Lissandras to come into this game. So it could be a lot about how you maneuver around the map, a lot about how your macro setup is.
Will be about mid. I think Caps wants to push in the Corki and try to look to make plays over side. Mid push will be contested pretty heavily.
And we're tracking. Natural to focus in on the mid lane matchup when it's Vetheo versus Caps. We'll see where the junglers want to put their attention. Final game of the first round robin for both these teams, both at 4-4. Someone will walk away with a positive start to the season. Find out who it is. G2 Esports versus Misfits Gaming.
A lot of G2 fans in the audience today. I can see 3 flags already from here.
Dang. Uh-oh.
There's the Misfits
Oh
fan.
no, Misfits. Misfits fan who started that cheer, you're a hero. You're the MVP. In the face of insurmountable odds, you stood strong, and I respect that. And it's not really insurmountable odds because they're 4-4. Misfits have been on a tear, and to be honest, G2 have been in free fall, something we need to keep our eye on. But before we talk about that, we need to talk about the sheer amount of first strike that's shown up. We got a first strike Ornn today, first strike Corki, that makes sense. First strike Sylas. Caedrel, make it make sense for me.
Well, I mean, the Corki's running first strike as well, so whoever can proc it first will be nice. I think Vetheo will proc it pretty easily, but the first strike rune, as I say, that passive doesn't proc. Caps forces out the key there. In skirmishes can give you a lot of gold. I mean, it scales exponentially, the rune, right? Early game, it nets you gold here and there. It feels good. You know, it's like old Kleptomancy where you just proc it, you get the feel good bonus gold, but it naturally just comes through when you hit 3 items. You hit 1 combo on Sylas, you're going to get a hell of a lot of gold. So we'll track how much Caps can get from it. I think Vetheo will be the one to proc it in the lane. I think you can just drop an easy auto attack. Caps doesn't even have Q, and then he can proc it himself. The E as well is so easy to proc. But I think Caps wants to get mid push towards level 3. And then look to impact these sides. Top lane, melee matchup, a lot of skirmish heavy towards the top side as both junglers path there.
Yep, and Ignite for Relevant is going to be big as we move later in the game. Flash for BrokenBlade, we'll see what it does for him, but here in the early laning phase, GP obviously has the power of the parlay as well as the passive and the grasp. Very big damage that comes out from the GP.
So BrokenBlade's trying to manage Irrelevant's Conqueror stacks while also being very careful for the Ignite. So he's taking short trades so they're not so long extended that Irrelevant can keep his Conqueror stacks up, so now he'll proc it, get his EQ, and now Irrelevant ideally wants to auto-attack him again to keep the Conqueror, but he wants to make sure that he can kite him in between the fights. Q, auto, run away. Rinse, repeat while Conqueror falls off, and that's the idea here for BrokenBlade. Irrelevant trading back, of course. Like I said, Ignite is a bit scary for BrokenBlade, that's why he's not playing this too aggressively.
Burning through Corrupting Potion stacks very, very quickly, though.
And that's the power of, I think, Second Wind, which I imagine Irrelevant had. And Doran's Shield, just so much health regen.
Yep. Just using his dash very aggressively there. And now the engage on the bottom side. Flakked taking a bit of a poke here. Targamas stun is caught out there. Stun, a bit of a response. Aftershock is proc. A bit of damage going to be layered back onto Neon. Targamas now stunned up, but Mersa taking so much damage. Expunge, not sure if it's already come out. There it is.
Nice try there by Misfits. I like the aggression, you know, just instantly Q flash, drop the Ignite. Twitch has no cleanse. If we can proc a stun, he's dead. Luckily for Flakked, he flashed away and then got the stealth, so they didn't actually know exactly where he was after the stun. Targamas trading up here. Shield has to be used. Misfits ideally want to crash this wave and then look to back. Try to take some kind of cheater here because there's not much to do in the lane. Maybe take Crab.
Move up. Braum obviously has the CC to take that shield away. They do want to go for that one instead. Just playing down a little bit of vision. The back now coming out. Will it be interrupted? Targamas going forward, and Neon going to cancel that one.
I think they can just take Crab now or try to base again. I mean, he's on a ward, so Mersa wants to do Crab or stun it for Shlatan, so it's an easier take. But I think Neon's getting cancelled again. Yeah, he is, so not letting him back away. Caps is getting the mid push for now. And if we could just... Hang on a second. They're on a ward still. They think they've done the 5-head play, you know, where they think we've based, so they're going to push this wave, and then we're going to catch them when they go too far up in the lane. But joke's on you, there's a ward there, so G2 is going to
It's like when you're young and you play hide and seek with your parents, and they're like, oh, where are they? Oh, you know?
And they've already seen you 5 times.
Like they see your feet behind the curtain. It's like the worst hiding spot ever. You think you're a genius. You're like, we got him.
That is exactly what that was there. The Twitch W is thrown into the bush to show that they know that they're there, and Caps forces Vetheo back. Yep. Now they need Jankos here, or around at least, to crash this wave, of course, because Flakked has no flash, so he's going to show himself. Try to help them crash this wave. Mersa needs to be careful now. He's the one who could be in danger if a stun connects, if he's too far up in this lane.
Jankos with red buff now coming down. Targamas fishing for the stun setup. They are going to lock him down. Guardian comes in, unbreakable, just a little bit of damage. Ticking, burning, not going to be enough. Expunge, ignite.
Nope. Nice try there. So Targamas with the E-flash wants to catch Neon there. Doesn't have cleanse either. Now this wave crashing. Neon really wants to pick up this wave. He's probably calling Shlatan here saying, guys, I want this wave, but he knows
on Raptors.
Yeah, he knows he has to back away. One flash EQ from the Wukong. He's dead. Guardian's on cooldown as well. There's nothing there to defend him. So a big wave lost here. A plate over to G2. Great early game for them so far. Caps is going to trade aggressively here because he has TP.
Vetheo continuing to poke, continue to trade back. Caps out of mana, out of cooldown, so Vetheo can stick around there, but just taking the full brunt of that. Bottom side, though, such a huge gold swing in favor of G2. Not only are they able to grab 1, potentially 2 plates, they deny about 2 waves of CS to Neon.
Yeah, definitely huge play there from G2's bot lane. Good cover by Jankos. All sums down, and now Vetheo's forced to back away because Caps gets beneficial trades and he has TP. Mersa's hovering around to make sure he can get that base off, but no, Vetheo stays because Caps froze the wave. So awkward scenario here for Misfits, where they just want to make sure this goes into tower and they can back off. Luckily for him, Mersa has the first support to be there. Targamas is still in base, and Caps will just catch his wave and TP back, we expect.
And I think it's big for Jankos to have this kind of positive impact on the early games. We see Flakked and Targamas backing and returning to the mid lane because his stats have been pretty similar in terms of jungle proximity, definitely a lot lower in K+A at 14, but the impact just hasn't been there. He's been falling behind a little bit in jungle matchups. And obviously, anytime a team is not doing as well in the early game, jungle's like the first person you yell at. That's like solo Q 101, and I think it's good for Jankos to come out swinging. Yes, it's not a gank that results in a kill, but that gold swing in bot lane cannot be underestimated.
Definitely cannot, and I think that it's more so about jungle jungle support and mid playing as a 3 to try and find plays rather than Jankos being the one to force them. Of course, if you're playing Jarvan and Trundle, it's a lot easier to find plays because you have enough setup yourself, but on things like the Wukong, you need to wait for level 6, and it's more of a 3v3-esque game as Misfits will get the bot scrap respawn. Shlatan will get 6, I think, of this, and then they'll force a dragon. So smart play here, a little bit of bot push too. Jankos now looking for a cross-map play here by looking for a lane gank onto Irrelevant, who has no flash. Jankos is not close to 6, so they won't have the setup that they might want, but with BrokenBlade's ult, I think they might get it. There's the Gwen W. Irrelevant's in trouble now.
That's down. That's just an armor and MR buff, mostly, at this point in the game, but Cloud is down now as well. Irrelevant realizes really there's only one place that Jankos can be at this point, and it's probably on the top side or clearing out his camps, so it's just going to back off.
It's one of those moments as a jungler where you get Crab, you get Drake, you're taking his blue, and you're like, the only place he can be is top. He's probably through lane. Irrelevant knows that he's probably through lane, so he just backs off, catches the wave, finds BrokenBlade. And yeah, good early game here by Misfits, which is surprising when we look at their first couple of weeks. I mean, they're 4-4, G2 is 4-4, and after the first couple of weeks, we thought Misfits was gone, down and out.
Remember, they were 0-4. That's the thing. They've 4 wins back-to-back to get to the point where they are now. It felt doomed for this team after the first few weeks. They looked lost.
And G2 on a 3-game lose streak, Misfits on a 4-game win streak. So contrast in previous games from both these teams. And I mean, Shlatan's off to a great lead. Already level 6. Jankos hasn't hit it just yet. Maybe the ward will get him a level up on the wave here. But Shlatan's just been farming. Gold lead for him. Irrelevant's winning in isolation. Gold lead for him. It's just the bot lane of G2, which actually went out on the 2v2, which is ahead after denying that wave. They need to force a Herald, I think. Now Jankos is 6. They're going to look for it. You can see Targamas on the bot side is running up the river. Mersa is trying to match. I think Flakked might have to run here from base because I don't think Misfits will give this up easily.
Relevant moving down now. He gets spotted out. Could just get chunked out there if he sticks around too long. Mersa on the way up. Shlatan on the way up. Level 7 for the Viego. 4k health. Eye opens. They can maybe try to burst it down, but G2, I think, realize this is not going to be their Herald to take for free. They're pulling it back. Maybe they try to finish it up here without letting it reset, but it does now finally reset.
There's a lot of contrast here. Targamas has the ult, but Flakked doesn't. Then vice versa for Misfits. They don't have Mersa's ult, but Neon does. Shlatan has the level lead in the gold lead, but he hasn't spent it. He only has a Sheen and a longsword, so Jankos up in items. G2 just seem like they want to give this, or do they? Jankos is now in the pit, sees it's gone. Does he engage? Yes, he does.
He's going to step forward. Jankos now leaping in. Shlatan making it out to safety. Big damage on the backside from a big one. Vetheo doesn't even have any items, and he's already taken 200, 300 health off per rocket.
A bit confusing there, because BrokenBlade goes to top wave. The rest of G2 go towards mid. Jankos then goes over the wall, and then they think that they're fighting it. They try to engage, but nothing happens. Shlatan just ults away. They get the objective, and now that's a dragon. That's a Herald. And that's a winning jungle matchup right now for Shlatan if he can just keep farming.
And again, that bot side play for G2 is the only thing that's keeping the gold even right now. You can see 500 in the lead for the Twitch, an extra 100 for the Taric. That's just the plates that they're able to get the bottom side, because in the jungle, Viego pulling ahead, top lane, Gwen a little bit of an edge, Corki a little bit. Those ones aren't going to be significant. It really just is the Viego gold lead versus the Twitch gold lead. And now with the Herald, just have to see where they want to put that, where they want to focus.
Ideal would be mid or bot, wouldn't it? Try to get the Corki as quick to his item spikes as possible before they dragon spawn, get that reliable poke damage in. Bot lane also works to get towards the Zeri, but a little bit more complicated because that lane seems pretty hard to crash waves when the 2v2 happens. Of course, Flakked is alone for now, needs to be careful.
Flakked, oh, he's just going to get stunned up here. Forced to flash out there. Well played. Only the Ignite used from the side of Misfits, so ultimately hugely positive play for the fights to come.
Yep, I think Vetheo just based here. He's going to TP back. He has package up. It's spawning right now, but he knows Dragon's up in 1 minute 40 seconds. Why take package, right? There's no play to be made. Just use TP, come back, farm up a bit more, take a base in around 30 seconds to a minute, pick up the package, and then we might see another fight around this Dragon. G2 didn't find a fight on the first Dragon, gave up the Herald as well. Do they fight the next Dragon? I think the answer might be no, because Flakked really needs that Blade of the Ruined King. That's when the item breakpoint comes in for Twitch.
Yeah, and that's the big thing about Twitch right now, is obviously that he just feels so incredibly powerful on one item, which is rare for a lot of AD carries. Yeah, Gale Force feels great on Lucian, but past that, you're looking at Shield Bow, which is fine, but Twitch just gets so much from just a bit of AD, a bit of lifesteal, a bit of attack speed, obviously, with the power of his ultimate. That said, Caps Stepping away, 1, 2, 3, trying to get the blast cone. Mersa feeling confident there. We'll call it a zoning blast cone, as now they're going to drop the Herald in the mid lane. It'll be at least 2 more plates for Vetheo. And it was just the jungle that was ahead, but now it's going to be the mid lane as well. Jankos forced to retreat from the mid lane. Audience! There it is.
Big crash in mid. You can see what Mersa was going for there, right? Just flash, knock the blast cone, take Caps into his team, and then they can proc the passive. So, nice try. Herald crashes. Big gold lead now for the mid jungle of Misfits, who are just trying to farm up, avoid any plays. Sylas, Wukong, incredibly good skirmishes this early on in the game. With the Wukong ult, the Sylas taking away things like the Viego ult, it could be detrimental in these 2v2s, but as long as they can keep the Corki scaling, they're very happy.
Neon stunned up. He got out of the previous one, but he can't get out of this one. Forced to flash out. Just a bit sloppy there.
I wonder if Flakked had more mana, he would just flash after him there. Just pop the ult, has enough mana for E as well. Actually doesn't have the flash, so he actually couldn't gap close that. Caps picks up his Mythic. We saw Vetheo off screen go to base there and pick up the package. With Dragon in 5 seconds, I think this is just something G2 have to give up. And the problem G2 have is, if we're giving this up, what can we do if we're giving it up? And the answer is, well, nothing. They can just farm up their jungle and catch waves. There's no real top dive to happen. Maybe they take the 4v4 with a GP ult, but I feel like Misfits are a bit too strong right now.
Definitely difficult. Obviously, the power of a Taric ultimate and a Twitch ultimate can do a lot to sway fights, but given that Flakked hasn't completed that first item, he's really not too threatening. Cap's doing what he can to just trade, to just hold on in mid lane.
Execution could be everything, though, because it looks like G2 have a little bit of vision in the bot side of the river. They're keeping these bot waves in, and it's hard for Neon to join his team right now. You can see it's almost like a 3v3 stare down where Caps will come around, Neon is stuck in bot, and both teams are a bit hesitant. The package is worn off, Caps has to go back and catch his mid wave, or does he just ignore it and then they force the fight?
Shlatan waiting off to the side. Who's going to catch who here? Caps going forward. Can just go unstoppable with the ultimate. Is he going to commit as the Viego? Cap's going to be forced to ult out here in a second, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't have enough time. Valkyrie away. Targamas is still committed for the fight. Jankos now stepping forward. Vetheo going to get burned down. Trading back 1-for-1 thus far. Misfits retreating, but into enemy territory. Shlatan, he's strong. Very far ahead of Jankos. Level 9 to level 7. Maybe he can turn this fight with the help of Mersa beside him. The blast cone over, though, splits them. That's disaster. Stun gonna get dodged out here. Shlatan waiting, holding on. The ultimate not available. Needs to find a reset if he wants to get anything done. Just has to retreat. Mersa sacrifices. He walks back into the jungle, but with Flakked grabbing this kill, works out so well for G2.
I wonder how long he can stall here for. He will die. He's not going to execute, that's for sure, but he's just trying to slow down the game as much as possible. You can see Caps TP'd pot to stop Neon from getting any plates, and that's the biggest issue Misfits had with this fight. They couldn't get the Zeri to join. But with all of them showing top, it looks like Misfits will get the objective that they finally came for. G2 chasing them all the way from this river, all the way to the top jungle. 2 kills for them, yes, but still no break point from Flakked. He's really close to that Blade of the Ruined King, but hasn't picked it up yet.
We take a look back at exactly what happened here, but you can see Caps maybe a little bit overconfident on how much safety the Viego ulti would buy him in this context.
Yeah, a bit too deep here by Caps. I think he was just trying to trade onto Vetheo. Shlatan's been hovering around Vetheo this whole kind of dance around Dragon just to make sure he's safe. Caps dashes in, gets the little bit of damage, but here just holds the ult for way too long. Damage comes in from Misfits, they get the kill. Nice flash stun there by Targamas, catches Vetheo out. Jankos follows up with his flash to gap close, and now they're on the wrong side of the map. They get chased down and die. 2 for 1 in the end, and Misfits get the Dragon.
It's big because while Jankos is still behind in the individual jungle matchup, he is able to finish that the mythic item. Caps also getting stronger. Flakked sadly not quite able to complete the Blade of the Ruined King, but Misfits, again, trying to set up control on the bottom side of the map, taking down these crabs, and Corki going to continue to push out the mid wave as G2 just grouping up here.
Mersa.
Oh, Mersa caught out. Mersa again here. Unbreakable will be able to walk away.
Yeah, should be fine. They really want this mid tower, Misfits. They're trying to get it. Vetheo wants to drop a few autos on it, but G2 want to defend it with their lives. No GP ult yet, no Wukong ult yet, so G2 can't engage. And it looks like Neon's just been sitting on this bot wave for so long, and he's getting a lot of solo XP, yes, but he needs to join the team fights. Matching Caps is a losing 1v1. Caps.
Neon can try to leap over the wall, is going to do so, make it out to safety, but can't stick around this lane for too long if Caps wants to stay here.
I think G2 just want to push out this mid wave and then get Blade of the Ruined King on Flakked ASAP. Looks like Misfits want to respond by forcing the Herald. They know that he needs this item and they want to take advantage of it. Vetheo hovering around. Irrelevant has the top push.
Checking in on the gold, of course, because while it looks dead even, we have to keep in mind who the strong members of each respective team are. Vetheo leading Misfits versus Flakked. Shlatan and BrokenBlade, the other 2 strong members, with everyone else dragging behind. Really, it's the top 5 versus the bottom 5 here. Irrelevant Neon struggling to get a lot of that gold at this point in the game. Obviously presented by Santander. And now, Caps again fishing. Neon, is he going to have the E up? Is it going to be enough to escape this time? Stealing away the ultimate. Is he ready for the dive? He's waiting for the E cooldown. Flash forward, leaps in, has it. They're trying to trade movement speed. They're trying to move. They're trying to trying to get away from that one. Caps is going to get traded back here. Ignite just burns him down.
Good 1-for-1, forces the TP out of Irrelevant, gets Neon's heal as well, and now because Irrelevant TP'd bot, they have a pressure point top here, G2. Shlatan's the one who has to cover this, but they're going to dive him if he stays here, so that's going to be a top tower for G2. Flakked finally gets that item that he's been looking for so long, and we'll see if BrokenBlade wants to base and TP bot here or defend bot tower, because maybe Misfits want to take this mid tower and move down there. Not so sure if they can do it. The tower looks pretty healthy. Flakked looks for Vetheo, and there's the stun kind of combo with the stealth. Yep. And there's a TP from BrokenBlade as well, so he has chosen to TP bot to catch the wave to deny the tower. And we'll look at that one again because Misfits awkwardly have left Neon alone for so long that eventually he has to match Caps and he loses really hard. And you can see the amount of damage Caps has. He's waiting for his cooldowns. Flash, ults, lands a W, and then he hits the Q afterwards as Neon tries to dance around the tower. The best thing he can do, dash away to lose tower aggro, but there's a Gwen.
Yep. Good on Irrelevant to cover there, but again, G2 getting the better in a lot of these exchanges. As Flakked and BrokenBlade really just continuing to pull ahead. Yes, Vetheo is very strong, and he's going to be one of the members that you have to keep your eye on, but this duo of Flakked and Targamas are also just showing so much disruption. So hard to know where it is actually safe to back.
It is indeed. Caps has TP coming up soon. BrokenBlade doesn't. They're going to leave Caps top until this next dragon spawns, because Misfits have 2. If they get the next one, of course, they're on soul point, so it has to be a fight for G2. They have to deny that, and Misfits want to secure it. Baron won't be up, so there's not going to be any trades happening. Misfits could opt to give it up and try to get a top tower, but it's always worth trying to fight the soul, especially for the soul point, especially if they have Corki package.
Yep, and obviously already have the second Herald. Can create a pressure point anywhere they want. Mid lane already down. Stepping forward here.
So mid-wave contest is happening. Both these teams will kind of do a stare down for the next 30 seconds. Try to look for a mistake, try to watch if someone oversteps. Jankos and Targamas will be quick to punish, and similarly Mersa and Shlatan will be quick to punish. Side lane push is very important. If they can get the GP having the spot push and able to move first, and of course they'll have numbers advantage earlier. BrokenBlade going towards a crit GP build here, not going for the Bruiser build, so we'll dish out a lot of damage, but will be a little bit squishier. The Bruiser build gives a lot of CDR, ability haste, but the crit build just does more raw damage, and we've got a pause.
Perfect. Time for the Drakos Caedrel pause cast, aka we'll tell you what's going on when we know.
The pause cast.
The pause cast.
I like that. Someone must have some kind of issue in game. Hopefully it's just, you know, my screen turned off.
Yeah.
Turns it back on.
Maybe they're just like Vedius and they just really hate stealth champions and they're just asking one last time to the refs. Are you sure we can't delete Twitch?
You don't want to fix that?
Because this guy's just invisible and then I'm stunned. I'm playing against Season 1 Evelyn right now and I'm not a fan.
Have you seen the damage Zeri's doing to me? That W?
I mean, Zeri just got solo killed by Cap, so I don't think anyone's complaining about Zeri right now.
Maybe a couple more items and it'll be a bit tough to deal with.
Yeah, and again, I think where it's an interesting point in the game because while it felt like Misfits had some advantages in the early game, and while, yes, Flakked had a lead on the bottom side, it didn't really feel like it amounted to too much.
Yep.
And ultimately, I feel like G2 is still getting the better in a lot of these exchanges, despite the fact that Misfits have been getting, 2 Heralds, getting a lot of these objectives. And the fact that Vetheo is now on a side lane versus Caps when he's the man with all that money in his back pocket, and you see G2 just grouping mid, I think feels so bad.
Yeah, you really want your pushing side lane, especially with the Sylas GP. The Sylas wants to either soak pressure, where 2 or 3 members have to go to the Sylas lane and try to kill him, and then you net objectives on the other side of the map, or you have kill pressure in the 1v1 with the global of the GP ult. But I hear game sounds, so I think we're back into the game. Pretty quick pause, so let's take stock. 30 seconds on the Infernal Dragon. Soul point for Misfits. G2 currently have vision around it. Caps is basing to regen his health and mana. Has TP as well. Will he use it? He could run, he has enough time to do so, but it's going to be a big fight. G2 looks like they're going through bot for now, or they're just trying to make sure BrokenBlade is safe.
Yep. Keep in mind in the fight to come, the people that you really need to keep your eyes on are the Twitch, player of the Rune King, going to be very strong, and the Corki. He's about to evolve the Muramana.
Wait, G2 just gave up all of mid-wave. Caps TP'd bot, Flakked and Targamas ran bots. They're completely ignoring mid and Vetheo as package, so that Herald might take a tier 2.
Hold on,
G2
audience.
just want to rush it.
Keep it in your eyes, audience. Don't forget your responsibility. Ah, there it is. Good job, observers. You're heroes.
Here comes a 5v5 package.
Okay, Targamas looking for the setup. Irrelevant off to the side. We're just setting up for the 50-50. Caps with the stolen Corki ultimate, laying down a bit of poke. Vetheo getting shipped out.
He's the one
Veto's taking
out.
so much damage. The dragon hits him too.
Yeah, he's extremely low now. This is not ideal for Vetheo.
Barrel's getting set up as well. They're going to have to fight their way into this one. He's going to go across the entire team now. He's trying to leap out to safety. It's absolute chaos. The Dragon has been lost. It is no longer the focus of either side as Caps is still standing. G2 absolutely out-executing in the skirmish. All 5 members stand tall. Caps walking away with a blinking health bar. Vetheo and Irrelevant still in the area. Neon over the wall, maybe just trying to heal up, but Flakked goes invisible. Lays down the poison, pokes them out. G2, credit to them, making that fight work.
Yeah, 2 kills and the Dragon. Cap saves the mid-tier 3. Fantastic fight by them. Extremely risky, though. They gave up so much mid to make sure they could find a 5v5 there. Credit to Jankos on the engage. Vetheo forced his way in, and smart mechanical play by Caps to jump into the Taric ult last second to live. They'll get a bot tier 1 as well. A couple camps for Jankos, and they'll be happy with that as they get themselves the gold lead and deny that soul point.
Very, very big exchange. Caps making away with the blinking health bar, and Vetheo just getting chunked out really before the fight could come through. Again, G2 are supposed to be the ones getting poked out before the fight.
It was Caps. He took Vetheo's rockets and just out-poked
anything you can
him.
do, I can do better kind of attitude from Caps. He literally just takes a Corki ult and pokes enemy Corki out of the fight.
Yeah, a lot of rockets hit Vetheo there, so this is the point where he's really low. Now watch what happens. Vetheo packages here to split off BrokenBlade, and him and Irrelevant try to get that kill. Meanwhile, Jankos is engaging onto Mersa and Shlatan. Caps gets extremely low, and he knows he's not in the Taric ult, so he has to dash into it last second. It just about lands on top of him as he's burning and a rocket hits. So he lives. They all cover Caps, and then Jankos cleans up onto Shlatan. That's the 2 kills, and then they force the rest of Misfits away, get themselves the Dragon. Caps runs mid here because he knows he's absolutely fine and he's safe. He clears out the wave, and now Misfits are setting up around this top side, around this Baron.
Yeah.
They can't start it though. They don't really have anyone to tank it for now, and you can see the damage dealt in that last fight. A lot of poke from Vetheo, but a lot of poke from Caps and BrokenBlade as well, and they found their targets.
50 damage short of killing Caps in the end, and that's really all that's going to matter, as Caps now has a death cap as well. Full damage is the focus here.
No tier 2 boots, no Merc treads, no Zhonya's, no Everfrost for health, just full raw glass cannon Sylas burst. We'll see how much he can dish out in the fights. There's a Hurricane for Flakked as well.
I mean, the thing is, if they focus Caps, though, you're looking at the 2-item Twitch, or GP, who's also on 2 items. Yes, it's not the Bruiser build, but still, you're going to have big damage coming in there, so have to be really careful about where they put their focus. If they're not poking people out at the start of the fight, you know, the burst damage is definitely not as big as it is on the side of G2.
It's the power of the triple threat comp, isn't it? Misfits are kind of running it too, but more so in a poke-esque way rather than a skirmish-heavy way. Shlatan hovering around here will get spotted by the pink, whilst looking for a pick onto BrokenBlade, or making sure Irrelevant can crash his wave. G2 setting up a trap here, trying to put down pink wards, deny as much Baron vision as possible, and keep Misfits in the guessing game. And Caps is just getting that top push, so 2 minutes 30 seconds on the next Dragon. G2 have control of this topside river. Misfits probably want to retake control, but also wait for more item spikes. See Shlatan's close to that more. Malmultius.
Obviously going to be a big one. On the opposite side for Jankos. Have to see what he wants to go for here. Presumably the Death Dance, but taking their time as G2 slowly but surely just taking control of this game. Again, early game, very back and forth. Pretty impressed with how well Misfits played it, given how disastrous a lot of the early games had been. But now Flakked, he was hiding.
He was indeed. Now, you know, I just realized there's 2 stealthers. Flakked can scout out in camouflage with his Q, and then Jankos can use the W out of the bush, and then all of a sudden both of them can pop out and make a pick. Neon needs to be very careful in those mid waves.
Yeah. There's a world where once everyone's revealed, he just gets to dance around everybody. The Zeri power fantasy, but it's just so hard to find that angle, to find that space against a team like this.
Yeah, I think Vetheo wants to build towards things like that Hydra, get a couple more items for himself, and G2 just want to engage. They want to punish Misfits the second they walk up. Shlatan actually getting a bit overconfident.
Both top laners have TP. We'll see where they want to go. Shlatan can't go over the wall if they chain the CC perfectly, though. He will not get a chance. It's flawless from G2.
Bit confusing there by Shlatan. Dashes forwards to look for a stun when the rest of his team's on mid-wave. There's Sinash is picked up for Irrelevant. He's going to try to rejoin the fight. It's going to be a 4v5.
Focused. GP coming in. Irrelevant ready to go to the wall. The Corki poke is going to be massive here. Neon's poke coming in as well. Flakked getting chunked out. 8k. G2 do a lot of damage to the Baron, but they take a lot of damage in return. That's going to be the Targamas ult. They need to disengage the fight immediately. Mersa needs to get the ulti out and try to stop the fight, but as it fades away, Irrelevant steps forward. Neon still stacking up. Zeri ulti still going. Will start to fade away and stop the Baron for now.
Yeah, the turn is really complicated for G2 when they don't have Jankos' ult. There's not a knockup that you can hit and then chain CC Laure with the Sylas. So good poke there from Misfits, slows it down, forces them off, and now with 40 seconds on the next Dragon, we'll see if Misfits can recuperate and get some sign of setup on this bot side of the map. I think Vetheo should have the package coming up soon. He has the TP as well. Irrelevant 2-item spike. Ultimates down across the board. Flakked and BrokenBlade's the most important for G2. Jankos' should be up.
Very tense game. Both of them looking to find the edge, both of them looking to move up to 5 and 4, a positive first half. And the playoffs race is tight. At the start of the week, it was clear. It felt like we had our top 6. Everything has become very, very murky in these last few days as upsets have happened left and right. 2 teams now on even footing that we definitely would not have expected. G2 so far, they've been getting the edge. They still have the gold lead. Yes, Misfits have the extra dragon. We'll have to see how this fight plays out. Package for Vetheo is going to be big.
Poke time. Can Caps take away those rockets and try to get some poke of his own? Package hasn't been used too effectively just yet, and Vetheo doesn't have a stopwatch. There's the takeaway on the rockets. What poke can Caps get done? There's one onto Shlatan.
Oh, so he has a death cap. He just hits like a truck.
It's a poke game. They're going to play dodgeball for a bit until one team decides to engage or one person oversteps. BrokenBlade's waiting for that ultimate as well. I wonder if G2 are calling, waiting for that GP ult.
And getting pushed back. Have to be careful about going into the funnel against the GP though.
Flakked ult just came up as well. Targamas is still on cooldown.
One miscalculation from either side could end the game.
Package will wear off in a sec.
Has to go at some point. Dragon getting lower and lower. G2 just moving in. Are they going to go for the 50-50? But Jankos manages to grab it. Vetheo just getting chunked out. It's an absolute disaster. G2 just walk into the pit. They take everything that they want. Cap's still standing for so long, but the reset now coming out. Maybe Shlatan get it up, but he just walks face first. Now he's got the Twitch. Now the Twitch is so squishy, though. It's not the host that you want, Neon. Can he keep the fight going? Can he get anything else? It's 2 Infernals for G2.
3 for 2, and they get the Dragon, of course. Great engage there by Jankos. Vetheo going a little bit too deep means he had to get out of there instantaneously, so didn't have a lot of damage. Caps going a little bit too deep himself as well. Manages to pick up the kill onto Mersa, but gave Shlatan a reset, so Flakked fell. Now Jankos knows that Vetheo's around here somewhere.
Oh, this ton. Gonna go
the
GP.
GP.
There it is! Burning, ticking, falling. Choose who you wish to die to, for there will be no escape.
40 seconds on Vetheo. Jankos could look to base here and run towards the Baron. Now it's Neon who wants to stop the base. Targamas gets cancelled there. Neon can't chase too deep because Jankos is around. And I don't think they'll get anything out of this. G2 can't base and set up the Baron in time. Vetheo, Shlatan will respawn. So let's look at this again because the package is running out. And Jankos just straight up finished it. Shlatan has to back away with a W, so he's not in range for the spites. Vetheo gets interrupted on the next W here, so he has to flash away instantaneously. And now it's all on Flakked. Incredible amounts of damage dished out. And now it's here. I think Caps takes the Sylas ult. No, he just flashes over and gets stunned up. Manages to take out Mersa. Gave Shlatan the reset, so that allowed him to trade back.
Yep. Big damage comes in from the W there. Now, of course, Twitch, when you take it, you get his items, you get stats. So you're very, very squishy.
Yeah. Wait, Misfits are forcing a Baron here. Did Jankos just show bot on a ward? I think that's probably the call.
The confidence. They do a lot of damage to this, but they have to shred through it very quickly because Flakked's coming in the darkness, level 12.
I don't think G2 know. Jankos is still hovering.
Now they know. Now they know. Flakked coming in the stealth. Where's it going to go?
They're going to finish this.
The Taric ult is going to be so good if they can set this fight up. 4K getting lower and lower. A GP barrel. Can they steal it? 2K lower and lower. Can they take it? Will they secure it in the end? It's dropping. It's uncontested. The fight, though. G2, will they find this one irrelevant? Already burning, ticking. He will fall. Trying to step backwards, and it is a Baron for Misfits at the cost of a single member's life. Caps keeping the fight going. 3 members in the pinch. Only 1 knocked up. Will now retreat.
Very worthwhile trade there for Misfits. Great spot, great punish from Jankos showing bot side. G2 will get this mid tower that they've been looking for all game long, and they'll get themselves a kill, but the Baron will always be a better trade-off. 4 buffs on the side of Misfits. Bot tier 1 still up. A lot of standing goals for them to pick up. So good punish. Shlatan now hovering around mid, trying to force G2 back. A little bit of fake pressure here. He knows he can't go in, but he's just threatening that he can, so G2 are a little bit hesitant to carry on pushing, contesting those mid waves. G2 will Neon fall for this trap here. I think Caps is trying to set one up himself.
Oh, and Caps has painted a target on the back of Neon.
Yeah, he knows something's up. So let's look at that again. Did Jankos show bot? I wonder if he did. Anyway, this is the Baron. They pick it up pretty easily. I think Irrelevant just turns here on purpose because he knows he needs to buy time for his team. Just kind of dashes in. He knows he's going to die. But let's see how much time he can buy. Try to stop Jankos getting in, land a couple slows, try to do as much damage as he can, telling his team to just leave him. What an honorable sacrifice that was, and Misfits get out.
Definitely overall very solid play. You can see the amount of damage that he does, and it's only going to get worse as he gets more items under his belt. But it's a similar story for BrokenBlade as the FLICKR is now completed. Shlatan stepping in on the backside, but Targamas and Caps are here. Shlatan very much overextending, taking about half his HP for very little in return as the wave is now going to crash into this bot lane tower. Misfits not staying in the lanes, not valuing the Baron buff in that capacity, instead just trying to get control on the bottom side.
Yeah, Relevant needs to base here and catch top wave because BrokenBlade's going to get a tier 2 uncontested here. There's no TPs on Misfits, so G2 actually holding their bot tier 1 at 28 minutes in the game nets them a top tower. So negative gold Baron power play here. Misfits need to find some towers on the map. They're going to force this tower, and eventually G2 will have to give it up. Or will they? Jankos is around. BrokenBlade has TP. Irrelevant's showing top. Looks like they'll just give it.
Finally breaking it down, but the fact that we're barely even on a Baron power play is a very bad sign for Misfits. Credit to G2 for not really giving them an avenue to leverage it quite yet. And again, it's 55 seconds. I don't think they're going to get anything else with this.
No, they won't. Misfits just need more time. I mean, they just tried to deny that Baron to use it as a defensive tool rather than an offensive one. A tower is great, but I don't think they expected to get much more out of it. All they wanted was more time to buy for Vetheo, to get more items, for Neon to get more item, get towards the level 16s, and then try to fight this next dragon that's spawning in 40 seconds. Close.
I'm trying to kill a fly. You guys can't see.
He almost had
For context, by
centimeters away.
saying close. For the people at home.
It's currently 2-0 for the fly.
It's currently 2-0 for the fly. And 4-11 for G2 versus Misfits as we bring it back into game. A pitiful Baron power play, but it stops G2 from taking it, gives them more time to buy and to scale. We are now at 3 items for Vetheo. That's going to feel pretty good. 3 items for Caps, though, I feel like is a little bit more terrifying because he's just pure AP, steal the Corki rockets and kill you with them.
It's, hang on a second, Shlatan might be caught. TP coming in.
Shlatan now knocked away, unstoppable, but they're still just chasing him down. He's not going to be able to get out of this one. The flash might not be enough to heal. Is it going to be there? The bomb? Can he survive? They're taking out the barrels. They're keeping it going, but no, Shlatan's still just waiting in the darkness. He will not be able to make it out of the end. The Taric ultimate stopping any kills from going down, but Flakked has not gotten it. Irrelevant trying to chase, trying to finish off the Twitch, but the entire team of G2 will not let a man go down.
Ooh, nice snipe there by Neon. Can they get more?
Neon chasing. Static procs coming through. Vetheo and Neon do so much damage.
This is a 2 versus 4. And they're holding them back. So much range as well from Misfits. You can see the damage Caps can put out in these fights, but he's so squishy. Can they contest this 2v4? I think they should be able to. See how much poke they can land.
Boy, trying to clear. They have to be careful, though. If they get collapsed on, if the chain CC comes through, there's nothing. But look at the damage! Oh, BrokenBlade, run for your life. Twitch, I don't know if this is a fight that you want either. Neon stepping forward, but he can't finish the job. Flakked still standing. No, the 1-for-1. Bit of a mess there, but ultimately just the 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, 1v3 a bit too much here for Vetheo. G2 will get that dragon. Very, very messy, but we can see how much work the carries of Misfits can do, and it's only going to get worse and worse for G2. TP coming in from Vetheo.
I want this fight.
He's 2 versus 1.
Vetheo has a package. He has the package. Not really a lot else for him to take if he does use this. He can just get a couple of kills. Targamas now stepping away. That should be 1 dead Taric. Flash out to safety. Blast cone out, but no! What happened there? He didn't make it over the wall.
Looks like Jankos is going to die as well. I think he has probably a 1,000 gold shutdown. He's 7-0-7. This could be a lot of gold to Misfits if they can give it to Vetheo.
Jankos now running. Taking him out. Does get the shutdown. That is huge. That is a death dance waiting for Shlatan when he returns.
Indeed is, and now they have a bot wave too. Do they even base right now? That's 2 kills. That's 40 seconds of time to work with. And it looks like they are going to. They're scared of Flakked. They're scared of Caps. And Misfits, although it looked pretty terrible at the start, they recovered the fight later on. So let's take a look at this again, because Shlatan goes a bit too deep here. And it's him and Irrelevant, I think, just fighting for their lives against BrokenBlade's barrels in a sec. And I think the reason Caps has this full glass cannon build is because he has a Taric ult in the fights, and we see the damage it can do. So Shlatan on the backside of the fight, just killing barrels. That's basically kind of like hitting the ducks on the head, just trying to live as long as possible. Caps gets the Taric ult on his head right here, and then he can just dash in. Actually, no, it doesn't even land. He just can dish out so much damage, double kill instantly. But then it's on this back half of the fight where Flakked lives, turns into a 2 versus 4, and Vetheo and Neon, massive damage. Snipe comes in, forces them back.
500 damage on that Zeri W. That is big, and I like it. I actually really love the full glass cannon build because you've got all these champions who outrange you. And the second you go in, you get your 1 round of cooldowns, they're going to leap away from you. It's going to be so hard. The Gwen, 1v1, such a nightmare to fight. So going glass cannon, laying down these Corki rockets.
He needs the Taric ult as well.
Pseudo poke champion with the power of the Taric ult to go full all in if you need to. Has worked out pretty well so far. Words, English. 5, 4, and 5 the scoreline has died a lot, but it's amounted to a lot over the course of the game. 3 Infernal Dragons.
Oh, Neil.
Very big for the Twitch. Oh my god!
Yeah.
No matter how many times I see it, I will never get used to Corki rocket damage.
Me neither. That's 4 items. Void Staff as well. Level 17. One big one will take half of Flakked's HP. 2 minutes 57 seconds on the next dragon will be G2's soul, and it's always been, I mean, the last 10 minutes have just been a mid lane standoff. A duking out of poke, mid push, and a little bit of vision sprinkled on top. Both these teams looking for those 3 things. Flakked maybe wants to open up onto Neon here, but he's a little bit too risky perhaps. He doesn't see the rest of them. G2 trying to find an angle, trying to find some vision on this Baron. Observers, if we could look at G2's vision here, I think they only have vision in their own jungle, so they can't actually see anything in river. So right now, you have to think to yourself, when all of Misfits are not showing, are they on Baron? And you need to know quickly, because the second it gets to 5 to 4k, Jankos needs to be in the vicinity as soon as possible. So now they have to fish for vision. They see Neon mid, they see Irrelevant mid, they say to themselves, okay, they're probably not on it yet. But the second that they're not on it and you walk up, you're gonna get poked out. So it's a bit of a push and pull game here.
Absolutely, but this feels like the first time in the game that Misfits have been able to just free poke. Flakked's looking to stop that from happening. Exchange down there on the bottom. Potentially engage here. Have to be careful about over-forcing into the GP. Taric ultimate big as well. Jankos waiting over the wall. Is not going to find the engage that he wants. Maybe hoping to turn it here. Caps, keep your eyes on the big damage. Targamas now throwing down his ultimate. Caps can run in instantly. You see it. Waiting on the Braum ultimate, backing away. The timing, the spacing. Both sides know that a single mistake here will cost them so dearly. Braum ultimate going to be blocked.
This is really Misfits' favorite now. That's a Taric ult, and they forced Jankos and Flakked back. They're just going to start Baron. They're so chunked out. G2 should know that they're going to rush this because they're low on HP bars. Caps doesn't have the Taric ult. He's low HP as well. The second they walk in here, they're going to get poked out. Mersa is going to spot them. Where is Jankos? He's too far away. Misfits will finish this. Can G2 take the fight? They're going to have to force this. No GP ult either. No engage. Caps is just going to die if he goes in. I think Misfits are out.
Moving back into the pinch. Caps will not commit to the fight. Misfits, this time, all 5 members will survive with the Baron.
And they're going to base. 1 minute on the next Dragon. G2 want to base as well. Get as much setup around this Dragon as possible. If they can even get a 50-50, they'll take those odds at this point because Misfits with the Baron up. And 2 stopwatches on the carries. Actually, 4 stopwatches. Misfits just picked up in base.
Forcing Flakked back is big. Buys him a bit more space, a bit more time. Flakked would love to... Not sure how many items he has, but obviously recalling buying a few pinks would not hurt.
Caps needs to base the TP in, and we'll see the items again, but it's incredible if you just look at the inventory of Misfits. There's 4 stopwatches, all in almost a line there, ready to be used in case Jankos flanks or Flakked opens up. We'll see what G2 can pick up, because Flakked is sitting on 3 items. Does he have 4? Yes, he does. There's the Dominic's picked up as well, so in these late game teamfights, you can be shredded in an instant.
And ultimately, these fights are so incredibly tough to play because it's about the Taric. Oh my god! Oh no!
Well, back to base he goes. Guys, I think we're giving up this Drake. Took a little bit of damage on the way to mid lane, tried to walk past my inhibitor tower.
I was so shocked that I just like wiped half the makeup off. I just like slapped myself in the face. I don't know what it looks like, but there's a lot of makeup on my hand. All right, here it is. Remember, this is not sole for Misfits. G2 can't afford to give this one up, but it is very positive for Misfits. Buy themselves a bit more time in this game. You've seen how hard Neon and Vetheo hit already. It's only going to get worse with these Infernal Dragons, and certainly with an Infernal Soul if they're able to secure that one.
Both these teams neck and neck, 1 tower apart, 3 dragons apiece. The kills are in G2's favor, yes, but Misfits have the pressure right now. They've had the Barons all game long as well, and the poke is always in their favor. Look at the XP difference between Neon and Flakked right now. Level 17 Zeri. Caps has to flash that rocket. Almost got caught out there. Baron is up still for another minute for Misfits.
Reaching down. GP, the most reliable wave clear they have. Flakked can step up as well. That's trying to push on 2 lanes, but the waves aren't really synced, so it makes it pretty easy for G2 to respond. Vetheo potentially in trouble here, valking over the wall. Good reaction speed. The second BrokenBlade steps forward. He knows he needs to get out. There's going to be at least 1 inhibitor tower falling. Potentially the inhibitor as well. Jankos again, off to the side. Ulti available. Stun coming out from Shlatan. Misfits know they don't need to get over aggressive here. They don't need to stick around for a fight. Jankos now stepping forward. Targamas has the ultimate. Where's it going to go? Big CC coming over the wall. GPL going down as well, but they don't have the damage to finish the kills. Jankos is invulnerable, but for how much longer? Keep your eyes on Neon as he starts to run in on the side. But Caps does so much damage. He goes golden. That's the stopwatch. Buys a bit of space, buys a bit of time. Shlatan can start to fish for the resets. Wukong coming back up, Caps off to the side, Shlatan on the retreat. They overstay just a bit, but they will get the bottom inhibitor.
Massive blunder by Neon there. We have to see the replay, but I think he flashed on top of himself, or maybe trying to flash forwards onto Caps there to get a little bit of burst in. Instantly gets punished, loses both of his summoners, and now Misfits have to run. The Baron buff is off. Dragon in 3 minutes, 30 seconds. They need to re-establish map control, get a little bit more vision down. Guardian Angel picked up for Vetheo. Let's look at that again, because I think Neon tries to flash forwards here, but this is earlier on. Jankos goes in. Looks like he was going to die. Doesn't actually get the clone off, but eventually the Taric ult comes in to save him. And we'll just watch Neon from this point onwards. Looks for Caps. W across the wall. Pops the ult. What happens to his flash? So he just flashes in a bit too far forwards there. Stopwatches the stun, which is a great reaction, but at this point you're as good as dead. He gets taken down. Does proc Jankos' Guardian Angel, which will help later on. But I mean, they don't lose too much for this, right? Misfits could have had more pressure, but G2 don't gain anything from this other than a kill. And of course, Neon's flash. So we'll keep our eyes on Neon's flash, see if that could be a punish for G2 to look for.
And again, you can see 2 real big damage sets when it comes to poke on the side of Misfits, whereas you're going to see a lot of damage spread across the entirety of G2 when a fight does break out. They don't have the luxury of all that poke, short of Caps taking away the ultimate from Vetheo. Good news is that Broken Stopwatch is turned into a GA immediately upon Neon recalling, so he will have that item for the fight. But we're coming down to single team fight deciding the game, Caedrel.
Yeah, it is. This game has been neck and neck. The gold is dead even. That should tell you how close this game's been all game long. Flakked finds Shlatan. Shlatan finds Flakked. Both casually walk away.
In the night, just walking away.
But we can see how the team fights unfold for G2. It's almost like been a Rubik's Cube for them this game to figure out how they want to approach the fights. And they need Jankos and Caps with a Taric ult in the backline. This needs to be a checkbox and it needs to be ticked. Because if they can do that, Caps can take down Vetheo. It's just about getting in range of it.
Well, when both teams are set up, it's this back and forth dance. Don't overcommit into the Taric ultimate. Don't overcommit into the GP. But the thing that Misfits have, the G2 do not, is so much reliable poke. Yep. They don't need to play this back and forth dance. They can stand 10 feet away, poke you, wait for you to be low, wait for you to misstep, and then find their fight.
And the GP will do a lot of damage as well. One barrel combo, something Misfits need to keep their eyes on. So many intricacies in the late game fights. And with Baron up in 58 seconds and Dragon up in 1 minute 30, I think both might be on the map at the same time. And if I'm either of these teams, I would value the Dragon over the Baron at that point. I think both of them will try to control bot side vision. You can weather the Baron storm, wave clear up with the Corki if you're Misfits, keep them at range, and then play on the Soul. Similarly for G2, they have a lot of wave clear with the Gangplank, so I think both of them will be looking at the Dragon. Taking an agreement of saying you can have the Dragon, we'll take the Baron is a bad trade.
Very bad deal.
Unless they're extremely down in health, you know, they've lost 2 members, it's the only thing they can do. It's something they want to avoid.
Should never be down that bad. Against the Corki team, you cannot give up the Infernal Soul. Against the Twitch, you cannot give up, or the GP, you cannot give up an Infernal Soul.
It'll be brutal. 3 Guardian Angels on Misfits and a Zhonya's for Irrelevant. BrokenBlade has his Guardian Angel. Jankos's, I wonder if it'll be up for the Dragon. We'll see if it ticks over. Would be great for him to have a Guardian Angel. Can have a lot more room to play within these fights. Misfits want to hold topside vision for now. Stop G2 from being able to do the Baron. And I think it's just going to be a scrap around Dragon. Unless Misfits just rush it down right now, which they're going to do.
They do a lot of damage.
This could be bad. It could backfire.
Vetheo.
But we'll see if G2 can test.
Vetheo has the package. He can try to stop access. It's getting chipped away. But they're pushing themselves into this pit. They're pushing themselves into this choke point. It can be very, very difficult. Vetheo laying down a bit of poke. Flakked taking a big chunk, though, is massive. But are they going to bet it all on a 50-50? 10 seconds till the Infernal Drake. G2
look where Caps and BrokenBlade are going.
They know they cannot trade. But now, Vetheo and the rest of Misfits, they have to run. They have to sprint to this objective. They're flashing forward. They're trying to keep this going.
They want to get the Dragon.
The call,
they just want the Dragon.
The TP,
Caps
but the entire team is split. They're just focusing on the Soul. But here comes the Corki with the package.
This is everything.
Vetheo, can he make it into the pits? They do manage to take it. Infernal Soul, will it be enough? The Targ ultimate, they buy themselves space. They're invulnerable for a brief moment. Flakked untouched on the backside. The Twitch, not enough in the face of the Gwen because she is immune and she is making it work. Misfits now pushing forward. TP going in. G2 absolutely routed.
Gonna die.
They can survive. They can keep this buff, but it does not look like they will survive. There is no room left for them on this map. Flakked trying to retreat. Caps trying to make the hero play. Shlatan stepping forward. How long left on the cooldown? The healing coming in. Caps again. The miracle maker. The double kill. TPing back to the base.
He's gonna die to the rocket. He's gonna die to the rocket.
The rocket is even finished the shutdown. Misfits. They've done it. From 0-4 to 5-4, they managed to find the win. They gave up the Soul, but it will not matter because they traded for the Nexus of G2. Misfits and the first round robin, 5-4.
It was a Hail Mary play there by G2. They knew the Baron was gone. They thought they had a time window to finish the Dragon and then turn for the fight, but they invested so much just to get there in the first place that Misfits cleaned the house. 5-4 game winning streak now for Misfits. Incredible turnaround since that week 1.
Definitely a pleasure to watch them show up on stage. Yesterday it was coming back from such a massive deficit. Today it was fighting toe-to-toe with G2 Esports for every stage of that game, scaling up, getting that poke together.
What a ramp up as well. They beat SK, they beat BDS, then they beat Mad Lion, then they beat Fnatic, and now they've beaten G2. Incredible win streak here from Misfits. And that game was just so close, neck and neck from start to finish.
Absolutely was. Fist bumps all around. Obviously, it's been a difficult stretch for G2 these past 2 weeks. See how they recover going in the weeks to come. Misfits, again, feels like a consistent dark horse when it comes to talking about playoffs, but with performances like this, they can keep it up. Looking more like a sure thing every single day.
Wow. What a weekend, huh?
Damn.
What a weekend for these teams. Misfits going into this weekend against Fnatic and G2 coming out to the 2-0, and now when you go into the second round, having wins against those top teams is so important because it just makes it so you do have a lot of breathing room in terms of we will beat SK, we will beat BDS, and that you're already on 6-7 wins now, right? So a couple more and you're in.
That's all it'll take. Oh man, the second half's gonna be so exciting. For now, head on over to Twitter at LEC, Kia player of the game, Irrelevant, Vetheo, Neon, all the options you can pick from.
And I'm extremely happy for Irrelevant, right? Comes as a rookie, very, very tough first week. Looked like Misfits were extremely struggling, and now with this huge turnaround win streak for this rookie must be a great sign of confidence.
The mental fortitude to be named Irrelevant, to go 0-4 in your first 2 weeks, and then to come back
and win 5 games in a row. Giga Chad.
Giga Chad. Of course, it's time to head to a quick break. When we return, Vetheo at the desk to talk to us about our match of the week. Don't go anywhere.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
And some Kit Kat for you, and some Kit Kat for Elder, and some no Kit Kat for Barrett.